Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Alex and you're watching Broken Pines Farm. Brought the tractor out in the forest. Let me show you what we were up to last week. So we've been working hard to try and clear a path for the main trail. This is all damage from the windstorm we had last year. And as you can see, the path is completely decimated. Still a lot of work. Last week, my sister and my dad helped, and we spent a solid 2 to 3 hours in a full tank of gas in the Husky to just carve a path. At this point here, I think we'll have to give up on the old path because I have no idea where it used to be, and we'll just make a new one where it makes sense. I don't know if you can see how shaded it is next to the tractor. Well, where I'm standing right now used to be that shaded and that dark because the canopy of the white pines used to cover everything up. But look how open it is now. So I'll be curious to see what kind of vegetation is going to grow back. Probably different types of trees. There's lots of beautiful logs still standing up. Obviously clock is ticking when I get there before the bugs get there. We can see the one over there. There were a ton of giant woodpeckers going at it last week. So obviously the bugs get to that one. But hopefully we can salvage some of it, especially the maples that I can find, because I do want to use that wood for inside the house. So the plan today, simple. This spruce here, fairly sure it's a spruce, and I'm pretty sure it's been dead for a while, and it just broke in half during the storm. We're going to chop it up, and then I'm going to split it with the axe or the maul. We'll see, and we'll have a chat at the same time. So, got my chaps. Fueled up the Husky. I'm gonna finish cutting this in rounds, maybe a little bit that side, and then I'll come back and we'll have a chat about what's going on. You're saying, Alex, why didn't you measure your rounds before cutting them? This will go for the maple syrup in the barrel stove, so size doesn't really matter as long as it's nice and dry. So this was cut last week. There's been absolutely no rain. This is already at 17%, although that could just be the outside. And something I just cut right now, 29%. So shouldn't take too long for this thing to dry up and be ready for maple syrup seasons. I don't get caught off guard like last year. where I was stuck scrambling for wood. The downside is you can already see some checking. So this has been drying nicely. You can already see the cracks. So that's good for me trying to split it. Because very, very, very dry wood doesn't cut or split easily. Very, very happy with my Husqvarna 572 XP. That thing is putting in some work. And this thing has a lot of knots, so it's going to be a lot of fun also. Plus, this is not the best axe in the world, but obviously if it gets stuck, it's not going to be helpful. So, sorry guys, I've been away for almost a month. So what happened is at work, I was usually I work a schedule that puts me at, it's not exactly that, but to keep it simple, let's say I work 4 days on, 4 days off. That means I'm off 50% of the time, which gives me a lot of time to work on the property and do videos for you guys. But for the month of September, I was reassigned for specialized training. And that specialized training means you're working Monday to Friday. So it only gives you a couple days off on the weekend. Which, if you've been able to enjoy... Wow, this thing's stuck. If you've been able to enjoy a couple of days in a row off, and you drop to only 2, it's not a lot. And the time I do have, I want to spend it with the family. Also, one of my good friends from out of town called me up at the end of August. He said, "Alex, I'll be in town. Can I stay with you?" I said, "Absolutely." And I turned to Claudia. I'm like, "We have nowhere to put him. We only have 2 bedrooms. One for us, one for the baby. I'm not going to leave him in the basement. Sorry, on the couch. Which leave us with the basement." And the basement is a full-on construction project. So, what little free time I had, I ended up spending it in the basement. Which on the plus side, it's encouraging because now it's almost done there. And then our daughter will have a nice playroom just to herself in the basement. And the little free time I had while I was signing up for overtime to pay for the renos, because times are hard financially for everybody. Which brings me to what you've seen in the thumbnail. I've recently made a $4,000 mistake, which for myself and most people is not something that we can just... We don't have $4,000 just hiding under our bed available. So why did I make that mistake? Wow, this thing is stuck. Really stuck. So what happened? Basically, you would have noticed in previous videos, I currently drive a Toyota Tundra. It's my dream truck. I love it. It's been really helpful picking up building materials for renovation and just stuff around the property. But with the used market right now and the crazy prices, my truck is worth pretty much the same, if not more, than when I paid for it 3 years ago. So my heart says don't do it, keep it. But realistically, my head says buy a beater to commute to work and sell the truck. So that's what I've been working on. I was hunting for a used car that didn't cost too much, that would take me from point A to point B. Ideally 4x4, because I live quite rural and the winters here are quite brutal. Ideally Japanese, Honda or Toyota preferred, because they are usually fairly reliable. So I was hunting for a second generation Toyota RAV4 And the market is quite weird. It's very volatile. If a good car comes on sale, it'll be gone by the end of the day. So you have to jump on those. So I spotted a RAV4 about an hour and a half away from me. Spoke with the person a bit. The answer satisfied my questions. With the picture he posted, you could see that the car was well taken care of. I'll roll some footage. You can see the biggest one for me was somebody took the time to repolish the headlights, because that's a 2001. So it's more than it's the original headlights, and it's more than 20 years old. So plastic changes colors and becomes all foggy. And as I walked around and I looked everywhere, couldn't see much rust. I tried to get under the car as much as I could. The car's not that high. It is a 4x4, but it's a small one. And I couldn't squeeze underneath it. But everything I could see, everything he was telling me, he said it was up on the lift recently at his mechanic. Nothing crazy. I test drove it. Suspension was a bit rough, but that can be changed fairly easily. It's not too expensive. So basically, for a second gen Toyota RAV4, in this case it was the manual version, they're pretty much bulletproof unless there's rust on the body. I didn't see any. And the clutch can always be changed. So lo and behold, in the province of Ontario, you have to bring it to your mechanic. Mechanic will look it over and it needs to pass what we call a safety. Usually it's just steering, tires, brakes. Like you can't have large cracks in your windshield. Some tolerances for different things, but just to make sure the car won't disintegrate on the road. He lifted it up, and lo and behold, there was a hole about yay big on the passenger side floorboards. It was, I think, 6 inches from the bracket that holds the engine from underneath. And I could basically touch the carpet inside the car from underneath the vehicle. So my mechanic was like, whoa, can't safety that, Alex. So I asked him, you think I can get that welded? He's like, if you can find a original floor and weld the whole thing back in place, maybe. And we looked it up. They're discontinued now because it's too old. I'm like, you think a body shop would certify that? He's like, the amount of rust there is, the amount of damage, highly doubt it. So basically the car, at least the body, would never be able to be safetied. And it's such thin sheet metal. It's not for beginners. I toyed with the idea of welding it myself. But if I'm gonna have a car seat in there, to sometimes have my daughter on board, man, this spruce is acting exactly like I thought it would. Putting up a fight. If I'm gonna have my daughter on board, I want to make sure that this thing's safe. So basically, the frame's useless. It's trash. So then what I did is I looked to see if I could find, because mechanically otherwise it was fine. No check engine light. It had 280,000 Ks on it, but it looked well maintained. Oil changes were done. The inside of the engine compartment was fine. It's funny because I found the car care nut channel afterwards, and that's what he said. You gotta put it on the lift and make sure there's no rust. So now I know better. I was looking everywhere for a non-running, non-rusted second gen RAV4. There was a midterm refresh. The 04-05 version was slightly different engine. Apparently the wiring changed colors, so it would not be a simple swap. So then I started looking for an 04-05. Found a couple, nobody would answer, it was kind of iffy. Sometimes you see the same car, because they have like bumper stickers on them. You see the same car in 3 different ads around the same area from 3 different vendors that created their account on Marketplace about a month ago. So that's the reality of the used car market. Basically right now it's sitting in the yard, not doing much. I'll probably end up selling it for parts. I'll see if I can recoup any money from that, but otherwise I feel pretty bad because I lost $4,000 I don't have. I'm pretty stupid because I do have ramps, plastic ramps that you can drive the car on that fit in the trunk of the Crosstrek when we went to see the car. So I should have brought that, just at least lift the front end to take a look, and I would have been able to see it quite easily and not make the sale. Plus I was kind of rushed because, like I said, a good deal shows up. First person to show up with cash usually gets it, and I had to take possession before the Service Ontario, which is the governing body to change your license and registration over to your name, closes. I was kind of under the gun. I had a small time frame, but now I know better take your time than end up with a $4,000 lawn ornament. So now I drive a different car, and that'll be the subject of another video. End up finding a different one, much better. It works way better as a family vehicle. We got lucky, single owner, always garaged. It's been undercoated many times over the years, not a speck of rust. So in the end, found a better vehicle, but had to pay more, and I am $4,000 in the hole. So I've been doing a lot of overtime trying to pay that mistake, and it sucks because otherwise I could finish the basement faster. But such is life, live and learn. Everybody's still healthy, and I have the ability, if I want, to pick up a couple extra shifts whenever I want to do extra money. So I'm fortunate enough for that. I'm going to stop smacking on this because clearly we've been chatting for I don't know how long, and I'm still not even through my first piece of wood. So that's where I've been, slowly cleaning up everything. I'm gonna hop back in the basement. I've almost finished all of the drywall for the family room. There is some nice flooring going on sale this week at our local Costco, so I'm gonna go over and pick that up with the pickup before I get rid of it officially, because now that I have the other car registered under my name, insured, everything, the truck will be leaving within days. And we can use that money to finish the basement. I wish I didn't have to reimburse my mistake, but such is life. Have you made a silly mistake before that now you look back and it was a learning lesson for you? Hopefully it was. Hopefully you didn't make those mistakes. I'm usually the guy that does a ton of research, and whenever I get something, I know I got it. It is not an impulse purchase. At least I keep my impulse purchases under $30. And I felt kind of silly afterwards. I had made my research, but I didn't take the time to properly check that vehicle before I purchased it. Anyways, hopefully now I'm back on my regular schedule. There's some stuff to do around the orchard. It's now time to plant the potted trees I had started from seed. They're ready to go in the orchard because fall is a great time for them to build their roots and dig deep for a better spring. And we'll try to do a better prep for next spring so that we only have to plant next spring and not do the whole prep trying to bring a tractor in when it's super muddy and super wet, and try to not destroy the lawn and dirt as much. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you have a great day. If you want to stick around and see what else is going to happen, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to keep getting frustrated with this, but it relaxes the mind. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.